From the pages of MikeHuckabee.com, where you can keep up with all the news that you actually need, as well as all my columns and clips from our TV show, as well as sign up for the always free Huckabee newsletter, well, it's time to take another look back at some of the stories that made up the week that was. As part of his never-ending "what can I do next to make things work" policy, President Biden is refusing to listen to angry border state leaders, worried Senate Democrats, or even the majority of U.S. voters who don't want him to lift Title 42 COVID restrictions in May, which will allow a massive new wave of illegal immigrants to rush across the border. It's such a harebrained idea that a bipartisan group of senators are introducing a bill to try and stop him. Kyrsten Sinema, Democrat from Arizona, along with her co-sponsors, 3 of them are Democrats as well, say the Biden plan, well, if you can call it that, it just doesn't seem workable. Yeah, no kidding. ABC News reports that some 18,000 migrants could be trying to cross the border every day once Title 42 is lifted next month. But at the moment, President Biden seems determined to proceed with this entirely predictable disaster anyway. Because why not? Well, maybe this will get his attention. Texas Governor Greg Abbott made it clear that Texas is fed up with bearing the brunt of Biden's open border policy, as well as all the crime and drugs that it's allowed to come pouring into the state. He says since the federal government refuses to do its job, he's allocating state resources, including more equipment in the Texas National Guard, to shore up border security. But here is the really creative part.
Texas is providing charter buses to send these illegal immigrants who have been dropped off by the Biden administration to Washington, D.C.
There you go. Governor Abbott says he's going to use as many buses as it takes, pointing to past evacuations for natural disasters that sometimes used as many as 900 buses. I assume he's probably going to need more than that, since Biden's presidency is proving to be a much bigger disaster than any recent hurricane. Now, as much as I love this idea, I'd also suggest they unload plenty of those buses in some of the more affluent liberal suburbs around D.C. You know, ones with the highest incomes in America, wherein live the lawyers, lobbyists, politicians, and other assorted swamp creatures who have worked so hard to create the open borders policy and its resulting flood of illegal immigration. So much so that they arrogantly assumed, well, it would never touch them in any way. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki laughed at all this week and said, nothing about it is a publicity stunt. Well, we'll see if she's laughing when the U.S. Capitol turns into a bus terminal next month. Also at the White House this week, former President Barack Obama made his first appearance there since leaving office in 2017. He was there apparently to celebrate the 12th year of Obamacare. Here's how some of that went down. I just see the guy with the white hair, you know, the one standing a couple of people away from President Obama. That's our current president, trying so desperately to get the attention of the former president, who was his old boss, and he was being completely ignored. And you know what? It didn't get any better from there. It was like that wonderful joke they used to say, "Hey, I'm their leader. Did you see which way they went?" I mean, that's how poor Joe looked. He's walking one way, Obama's walking the other, and Joe finally looks around and realizes he's by himself. I once heard a person say that if you think you're a leader and you look around and nobody's behind you, you're not a leader, you're just out for a walk. Joe Biden was just out for a walk. Joe Biden joked that he had lunch with Obama earlier in the day and that no one knew where to sit. That I believe. One Twitter user added that the whole scene looked like when you bring your cooler brother to the office and all your coworkers, like him, more than you. Well, a little more from the Twitterverse, where Elon Musk bought $3 billion, that's billion with a B, $3 billion worth of a company's stock this week to become Twitter's largest shareholder. And it's making some people very nervous. Mainly the blue-haired, gender-confused, censor-happy, weirdo leftists who work there. Reuters reports that, and I quote, employees said Musk's involvement may change Twitter's corporate culture. And some people are dusting off their resumes and hitting the job market. Bravo. Reuters added that Musk has supposedly faced widespread criticism for posting memes that some people don't like. Musk himself says he's a free speech abolitionist. He's for free speech. That's all I want to say about that. He's for free speech, completely, absolutely. And he just put his money where his mouth is. Next up, the Biden administration is continuing their pause on student loan repayment, and far-left Democrats aren't too happy about that. They don't think it goes far enough because they want student loans totally wiped out. So here's my tweet from this week. Wipe out student loans? Why stop there? Car loans, home loans, appliance loans, gambling loans, Christmas layaway purchases. Why do Dems want to give dollars to college-educated elites when many single moms can't afford gas and groceries, thanks to Joe's policies? Not to mention, what about people who had student loans and worked hard to pay them off? Do you get a refund? Finally, in Hunter Biden news, the emails that he only thought got erased. Get ready to see them for yourself. Whistleblower Jack Maxey, the man who received Hunter's hard drive from Rudy Giuliani and gave a copy to the Daily Mail, he's been hiding out in Switzerland these past few weeks, where he says he's been working with IT pros to extract even more data from the so-called laptop from hell. Now, considering what Hunter did not delete, it's impossible even to imagine what he thought he should delete. But Maxey says there are 400 gigabytes of what Hunter Biden probably assumed had been erased, including, brace yourself, 80,000 images and videos. Good grief. And more than 120,000 archived emails. He says they're all going to be posted online in a searchable database in the coming weeks. This is a story that's getting worse for the Bidens every day, as prosecutors seem to be closing in on Hunter and his steady and shady business dealings. And a grand jury witness in Delaware just this week was asked, who exactly is the big guy in those emails? You know, the one who gets 10% of all the profits? Well, if big tech and the liberal media had their way, they'd make sure we never find out. And that's why people like Jack Maxey and, yes, Elon Musk have to work around the censors, and hopefully the truth will prevail. Until next time, these have been the facts of the matter. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, then subscribe, and hit the notification bell below. Now, if you didn't like it, you ought to find a Ben Shapiro video to detox you with more facts.